I'm Dr. Dora Dixie, board certified in family medicine and addiction medicine. Ask Dr. Dora is my virtual medical ministry where I share information about addiction medicine, substance use disorders, and the magnificent bodies we live in. I believe, no, I know that knowledge is power, and the more knowledge you have about how the body functions, the better care you can give it for improved and hopefully optimal health. Today we have the pleasure of having a conversation with Jessica B. Welcome, Jessica.
Yay! Thank you, Dr. Dora, for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's our
Yes,
honor.
It is. It is.
And
Thank
what
you.
I want you to do is just tell us who you are. Who is Jessica B?
So, Jessica B she's multifaceted. She's a lot of things. But first and foremost, I am a child of God. And that's I always have been, but even more so in recent events in my life. But I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a celebrity makeup artist, I'm funny, I'm smart, I'm witty, I'm a wine drinker. I don't know. I love life, and so I'm a lot of things.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Well, I heard you say you're a wine drinker.
Mm, mm, mm.
So it sounds like you had a love affair with wine.
So technically, I still do, but like I said, in recent events, things have happened that have kind of forced me down a different road.
Okay.
So while I still do enjoy wine, margaritas, my favorite. Love it. But for health reasons, I kind of had to fall back. So, yeah. So, not as much as I used to be.
Okay. Can you share with me when you realized alcohol was becoming a problem in your life?
I'll give you a true story. Story. So I guess I realized, and unfortunately, it was much later. This was like maybe not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago. I had gone out with friends drinking, and I was on my way home by myself. And I don't know who or what I hit, but I ended up having to get my car fixed because I cracked something underneath. I remember whatever it was, my car jumped up and I just kept rolling. But by the time I got home, like I didn't think anything about it. But when I did get home, thank God I made it home. I couldn't remember where I parked my car the next day. So I found it in the garage the next morning. I thought somebody had stolen my car. When I got up to go get in my car, I went to the driveway and I told my kids, I was like, somebody stole my car. Can you believe it? They was like, Ma, how do you lose a car? And I was like, I know, I parked it on this driveway. It was in the garage the whole time. Can you imagine if I would have called the police and had them come out?
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have been too pleased.
Yeah.
They may have taken you to a mental hospital.
You know what? For that, I probably should have gone to willingly. But that is when I realized it was a problem.
So when did alcohol drinking begin in your life?
My first drink I had as a freshman in high school. And this is when the Boone's Farm. Boone's Farm was popular, like when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And so that was my first drink. And I don't know, I mean, it tastes good, but I wasn't a fan of it at that point. I didn't like the way that it made me feel. But I was inexperienced. I really didn't know how it was supposed to make me feel. But I just know, like, thinking back to that time, that was my first drink, and I really didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. But you fast forward. Yes.
So you
Yes.
finished high school.
Mm-hmm. Finished high school and then went on to college. And so when I got into college, money is funny in college. We didn't have a lot of funds, so I started drinking beer. And my first taste with beer was a Heineken, a Heineken beer, and then we went to Miller Genuine Draft. And
Okay.
that's when 40 ounces were like the thing. So everybody had their own 40 ounce. You didn't need a glass, you just drank it right out the bottle. Right out the bottle. And by the time we had finished hanging out for that day, I'm confident I had alcohol poisoning because I had like sores on my throat. Like I couldn't eat for like a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah. Didn't like that either. Yeah, didn't like that either. It took time, but I figured it out.
So in your introduction, you said that you were a mother.
Yes.
So I'm assuming the children came after college. How did the alcohol affect your parenting?
Well, you know what? Me personally, alcohol for me was an escape. So, like, the pressures,
Mm-hmm.
parenting, I was a mother, I was a wife, I had a full time job, I had a side job as a makeup artist, I was in school part time. So, liquor was my friend. At that point, I graduated from beer. So, started with Boone's Farm, graduated to beer, and then I moved on to wines like Moscato's and margarita. Those were my two absolute favorites. So
Okay.
parenting, I had my days, kids frustrate me, pouring a glass of wine. I got home from work, that was the first thing I did. Sit the kids down, get their homework started, pour a glass of wine. Get the dinner started, another glass of wine. Run the kids off to the football field, glass of wine. In the car, on my way to the football field. Yes. So, and so it was easy to finish a whole bottle of wine in a day. That
Okay.
was easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think alcohol affected your relationships with your family? Not your children, but
But yeah, yeah.
brother, sister, mother, father.
So so I have three siblings. Well, I had three siblings. Brother, God rest his soul. But he and we would drink together. That was my guy. We would have drinks together. Amazing time. My oldest sister, she and I would drink, and so again, good time. My sister right above me, she doesn't drink. So to me, non-drinkers don't understand like the vibrancy that alcohol sometimes brings. It can be fun, but
Okay.
obviously, you got to do it responsibly. But you know, at that time, so so um,
Mm-hmm.
so she was the sibling that I had probably issues with when I because she was so she
Mm-hmm.
didn't get like the off the cusp, the impromptu like behavior. She wasn't for that at all. So she probably was the issue as far as that goes. And then there were times where my mom would say, I'm at my mom's house. I'm ready to go home. She's like, "You're not driving." And I'm like, "Yes, I am. I'm going home." Like, not thinking, "You're intoxicated. Like, how do you think you're okay to drive?" But, you know, that probably was the issue with those two persons in my
Mm-hmm.
immediate family. But everybody else, cool beans.
What about your friends, your girlfriend?
They drank too. They drank, but maybe not as much as me. Because, at that point, they would say, "Oh, Jessica can drink you under the table." Now, I didn't really like that stigma. Don't put that on me. But when it's time to go drink, everybody call Jessica. Call Jessica. You want to go out, have a good time, get something to drink. She's your go-to girl. So, yeah, that my girlfriends, we were all cool. We had our designated driver, so there was the ones that were gonna get sloshed, and there were the one in particular who knew it was her turn to be the designated, make sure everybody get home safe.
Were you ever the designated driver?
No, no, That wasn't my
That was not your
that wasn't my
role.
wheelhouse. No, no. That everybody got a turn, not Jessica. No, because I was the party, so everybody made sure let's get in. And so I was the person to roll up to the bar, and everybody said, "Okay, what we drinking?" So they wait to see what I'm gonna order before they know what they gonna order. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I earned this title. I really don't. I wasn't trying to. It just happened.
So was alcohol a part of your identity?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
How was alcohol a part of your identity?
I felt like the friends that I had that didn't drink, to me, they didn't belong. Like you don't, how do you fall in line with the drinkers? Because we are loose, we're free, we're open, candid. But I feel like without the encouragement, you're closed, you're reserved. And so to me, that's not fun. It's not living. So if the girlfriends that didn't drink, I was the person that was pushing them, nudging them all the time. Or like in particular, another true story, one of the girlfriends, we were out and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not drinking today." And I'm just like, "Why?" She was like, "Oh, I'm on medication." I said, "Well, girl, just double up your medication. What's the problem?" This is bad. This is bad. Yeah, yeah. And so I was it just was a part of who I had become. And I think it wasn't to me like the as me looking out, not necessarily looking in. The vision was different. Me looking out, this was just, letting your hair down, like releasing some of the stress, some of the pressures that came along with, all of the hats that I wore every single day. So,
Okay.
you know, it it just to become a part of, I feel like what I needed to keep me going throughout the day, the week, like the relationships with your spouse, with your children, with your family. And so at that point, people just started to expect me to be the person that shows up and brings the fun, brings the laughter. And then a lot of times to get that going,
You had to drink.
pour it up. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So did the alcohol have an effect on your marriage?
He was drinking too. He
Okay.
he was drinking too.
Okay.
But and transparency. When I was married, my spouse was never really home, so that could have been another part of the alcohol consumption
Mm.
to mask, you know, the emotional absence,
I get it.
of a husband. So,
Okay.
I was, at home building solar projects. I was building villages for my kids' school projects,
Mm.
cleaning, cooking. So I was all of that. He was really never home. So you get all that done, you pass the time, you have a little wine, and it's just it just made me feel at ease.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. So what was the moment or event that made you decide it was time to stop drinking?
Well, so now this is the part that'll make me cry. Um, Last year, October 3rd was my diagnosis date. I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. And it started out, they thought it was an issue with my liver, which of course kind of made me feel bad because I was like, oh, you did this to yourself. Like, you're drinking wine every day. Like, now you could potentially have liver cancer. And so from June of last year up until October 3rd, I was in and out of emergency rooms, in and out of visits with specialists. And so they determined that it wasn't my liver. So I was like, see, I can still drink. Even in the wake of that, I'm still worried about my ability to have a glass of something.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, well, yeah, no, your liver is fine. However, you're dealing with this issue. So, through months of chemotherapy, obviously chemo is a toxin in itself. So to try to couple that with alcohol would just be stupid on my part.
Mm-hmm.
So while I do enjoy drinking, I enjoy life much more. So I had to choose. Is it going to be the alcohol or is it going to be life? So with my kids, my grandkids, my family, my close friends, I just chose life. So, and it's, I know people want to give a story that sounds, storybook. It's just not always storybook. It's what it is. It's life. Life happened to me. And so it forced me to make a choice. And this is a motto I've said for many years. Change is difficult, and most people lack the ability to change. And if they do change, what drives them to change is either something that's painful or costly. And so for me, it was a little of both.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the time you got the diagnosis, were you done being married?
Yes. At that point, my marriage was over. Oh, gosh. And I don't think it was over because of drinking. Look, I was, like I said, he was never home. But if drinking was a problem, it was unbeknownst to me at the time. So my marriage ended 10, 12 years prior to my diagnosis coming along. So there was a big time span in between that. And so I think even in the wake of going through a divorce, that enhanced the drinking, because again, it was another means to cope with some more stress or heartache. So yeah, I really was turning the bottle up at that point. Yeah.
Okay. So as you were turning the bottle up, did you find yourself maybe at some man's house that you didn't want to be at?
uh no, because I for the most part I've pretty much always been in a relationship. But I will say that I probably was at that man's house and probably really didn't want to be. But the alcohol made it a little more bearable, you know. I remember one particular relationship that I was in, and it wasn't a secret that I was a drinker. I mean, your first date out with me, you're going to already know I was a drinker at that point. And so when I would go to visit him, when I would walk through the door, it's like his kitchen is like right when you come through the door, and his counter is sitting there, and there's nothing on the counter but a single glass that was already salted and with ice in it. And as soon as I come through the door, fill it up and drink it, and by the time it get halfway empty, fill it up again. So, I'm sure there were moments where it was a winning thing for him because it relaxed me. So it is what it is. We were in a relationship, but it wasn't the best relationship to be in. So I think
it sounds like the alcohol was used as a tool to manipulate you to maybe do some things you didn't necessarily want to do at that time.
I would say that's a fair assessment. Yeah. I would say that's absolutely correct. I think it just made it easier for things to happen fluidly because there was no resistance. There was no um, judgment, if you will. There was no time to gauge whether, this is something that is okay or not. It's just, hey,
Okay.
get your buzz on. And so you're buzzed and you're feeling good. So definitely made it easier, just kind of free flowing, if you
Okay.
will. Once you start drinking, it eases everything. It takes the guard. Your guard is down.
Okay.
That's a perfect way to explain it.
Okay.
Your guard is down. Things are easy. You're more relaxed and you're more willing to go with the flow.
Okay.
So, while yes, I was in a relationship, but like I said, things just weren't like enchanting. So it's like, yeah, if you go, yeah, well, yeah, give me a drink that'll help me along.
Okay. How much did your drinking get up to in a day?
Well, so, I started out with a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And now, they make gallons now.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah, they make gallons. And so it was easy for me to probably have a half a gallon of wine.
Okay.
And at that point, it was like drinking cranberry juice. It really didn't do anything for me. So, and I think maybe in my mind, that's why I continued to drink, because it wasn't necessarily affecting me. Now, the margarita, and I'm not trying to, give nobody extra credit. No,
Mm-hmm.
Market one product over another, but there was a particular margarita that I preferred, and it was ready to pour. All you got to do is just pour it over ice.
Set your glass
Ooh,
up.
yes, with a salted rim, my favorite. And so, and that was his go-to
For
me.
you. Yeah. It sounds like through this process that you developed a significant amount of tolerance, where you started out with a glass or two a day to a regular bottle of wine to a half a gallon of wine, that your ability to metabolize that alcohol
Was
really
Yeah.
increased over the time. Did you ever have withdrawal symptoms?
Never. And let me tell you something. Every year you go to your gynecologist, and I didn't have, like, a lot of people do have like a primary care physician. Well, I never had health issues
Mm-hmm.
like coming up over the years. Even in my drinking stages, I never had health issues. And so I would ask my gynecologist, "What is an alcoholic?" And she would say, "Well, why do you ask?" And I said, "Well, because a lot of, like, my family is asking me, like, do I think I'm an alcoholic?"
Okay.
And so my gynecologist would say, "Well, no, there are specific things that alcoholics portray or display, shall I say." And so a lot of those things, and this is what she would ask me, like, when you get up in the morning, do you feel the need to drink? I said, "Who drinks before noon? That sounds disgusting." And she's like, "Well, then you're not an alcoholic. Like, alcoholics need alcohol to make it through their day." I said, "Well, no, that's not me."
Mm-hmm.
So I started to pay attention to, like, what would drive me to grab like something to drink. I definitely had the taste for it, and we know sugar is addicting in itself, right?
Right.
But for me, I've never been a water drinker. I don't. I could probably go. Then I could probably go a month. Does that sound crazy? That sound crazy. I could go a month without drinking water, just regular H2O. So I said, "Well, isn't water and wine, isn't water and milk, like, right?" No. So this is what her response was. There are certain things like, "Do you drink hard liquor?" I wasn't like a dark or even a light, like, just pour it over the rocks. That was never my thing. Um, I liked mixed drinks. So to me, it was more about the sugar than anything, the sweet flavor. And because I didn't like water, I was thirsty all the time. So I could pour wine over a glass and probably drink the whole glass just in just a, an immediate setting because I'm quenching my thirst at that point. So now we're set up for the next glass and then the next glass. And of course, sugar make you thirsty anyway.
True.
So I just was drinking. I just was drinking. Yeah. Crazy.
That is interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So really, for you to be labeled, or anyone to be labeled an alcoholic or someone with alcohol use disorder, it's not the amount.
Okay.
It's the consequences.
Okay.
It's the consequences.
Okay.
Yeah, withdrawal is one. Drinking more than you intended to at any one given setting. And relationships. So people complaining, hey, Jessica, you think you got a drinking problem?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Driving under dangerous, drinking and driving.
You know.
So you really did fit
did.
the criteria,
Yeah.
at least of a moderate alcohol use disorder. If
Yeah.
I went through all 11 criteria, we could
check some of them boxes.
We could check a lot of boxes off.
Yeah. I think that's what I didn't want to admit for myself. You know, it was always, no, you know, you look at the few things that you're not and you say, oh, see, I'm not an alcoholic. And then you ignore the things that put you in that category.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It sounds like you had a level of denial.
Yeah.
You may not have labeled it as such.
For sure.
But I'm not as bad as this other person, or.
Well, now according to everybody, yeah, I was worse than the average. So, but you know, I've always been a headstrong person, so I never really paid attention to what people had to say. What do you know? You know, you're a stick in the mud. It's probably coming from a person that don't drink. So, my mindset, you know, it's you don't drink, you don't understand. You wouldn't know. I'm not listening to you. So I got to talk to people that drink. They understand. They understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
after you got your cancer diagnosis, and you made a conscious decision, it's time to quit. What kind of support did you have in that process? Did you go to treatment?
So, another true story. So, you know, in my home, I had wine racks everywhere, wine refrigerator, stocked with wine. My youngest daughter asked me, she said, Mom, what is it that makes you want to drink? And I said, well, why would you ask me a thing like that? Like, I drink because I enjoy it. She said, well, Mom, you're hurting yourself. And I'm like, how so? What makes you say that? She's like, well, I mean, I just feel like you're overindulging. And I'm just like, no, I can stop if I want to. And she's like, okay. So after the diagnosis came, she came through my house and took all of the alcohol out. And in that moment, in my mind, I'm saying to her, you better not pour that wine out, girl. You better find somebody that can drink that. That's good wine. You don't waste that. So yes, for all intent purposes, that probably sounds like an alcoholic. Right?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that is a reality in this very moment. That's a reality. In this moment, that has never dawned on me until right now.
Well, I'm glad I could bring some light into your life.
Yes, Dr. Dora. Yes.
Into your thinking.
Yes. So, question for you.
Yes.
Even now, I still have the desire to drink. And knowing my history, I am considered in remission right now. And speaking to my oncologist, she said that it is okay to have a glass of wine here or there. So I'm asking Dr. Dora, do you think that alcohol alone was the cause of my ovarian cancer?
There is no literature with the American Cancer Society, the OB/GYN Society, that puts alcohol as a risk factor specifically for ovarian cancer.
Okay.
But alcohol does put you at risk for getting cancers. Okay, and if you have a family history of cancer, any cancer, you're at risk for getting cancer. So my advice is one drink is not going to be enough if you like a half a gallon.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's a loss.
It is.
And that's a loss
is.
you have to grieve, just like someone you love died.
Mm-hmm.
You have to grieve the loss, however that's going to look like that. You start drinking again, will you stop? And having one cancer and chemotherapy puts you at risk for getting a whole different cancer because your whole immune system is compromised as a result of the chemo. So you and alcohol, y'all just got to get a divorce.
It's I guess I just never thought that it would be this hard. I never. Yeah, I never thought it would be hard. But again, I love my kids. I love my life. And so that's just going to be a hard decision. It is going to be a hard decision. It has been a hard decision, but something that I have done to kind of offset it. For me, it's about the glass, holding the glass. It's like a smoker when they smoke. The smoker, they feel, I don't know, like sexy when they have the cigarette in their hand. So for me, it's like holding the glass makes me feel girly, like ladylike. And so what I have been doing since my diagnosis, and I really didn't feel like I was missing alcohol. A good girlfriend of mine, she is a breast cancer survivor, and she was talking to me about ginger beer. And so what I have been doing is I've been putting ginger beer in a wine glass and mixing it with cranberry juice. So it looks like wine. The ginger beer makes it taste more of a fruity, almost like a what is the like a sangria kind of flavor is what it mimics. And so that has really helped me so much in abstaining from the drinking. But honest and truthfully, I have had drinks since finishing my chemo. But like now it just reminds me of where I probably need to just go back, because when my health was in question, this was August of last year. I hadn't had a drink since August of last year up until May of this year. So I went that whole time without drinking, but honest and truthfully, it was the wine glass with the ginger beer and the cranberry juice that gave me grace, because it allowed me to ease out of the desire for it. So I didn't feel like I was missing it. So I think that going forward is gonna be my saving grace. Is
using a sexy wine glass as a prop.
As a It's a prop. I think it's the feel in my hand, the glass, and how it feels in my hand, and the cold, refreshing drink. Because like I said before, a lot of times it's because I'm thirsty. Now, going through chemo, I had to drink a lot of water to flush the toxins out. So truthfully, I didn't even crave alcohol at that point.
Okay.
I didn't, because I was hydrated, drinking water every day, all day.
Okay.
So it wasn't an issue then. But now that, I'm done with the chemo, well, I don't know. I guess technically I'm not.
My concern with you using the wine glass, that whole ritual.
Yes.
Sexy glass, it's cold, it's in my hand, oh, I feel this. My concern is that that's not going to be enough. And then that sexy glass is going to be filled with a little bit of wine.
Yeah.
And then you will find yourself back quickly at that half a gallon jug of wine. I suggest you consider going to some AA meetings.
Then that would mean I'm admitting I've got a drinking problem. Why would I ever do that? Oh my goodness.
But you would get some support, because your story is not unique. There are other very successful women who dance the same dance as you have, and you can overcome this.
Yeah. It's like, for me, like, that just sucks. It really does. It just sucks. And in my mind, I'm reasoning with myself, like, how does this, like, knowing who I am, there's so many people that drink, people that smoke, never have any health issues as a result of it. Or people that have never drank or smoked that have health issues. So it's like, I don't know. What do you do with that? How do you, so let me ask you this. What about, like, imitation wines? Do you think that is the same thing as
imitation wine?
Yeah, like the zero beer, like a beer. No.
No.
Help me,
What
Dora.
is going to help with this near beer, near alcohol, near wine? It's not going to be enough, and it's not going to take the stress away that you're trying to get the alcohol to relieve, because it's not alcohol.
Yeah. But
nothing is going to take the place of alcohol. Nothing is going to make you feel like the alcohol. You're going to find those good feelings in something else healthy. You're not going to start eating up the world because you can't drink.
Yeah.
You love that sugar, that sweetness.
But the crazy thing is, I don't like candy. Like, I'm not a junk food eater.
Sweet beverages.
Yeah.
Cranberry juice, fruit juice. It's all sugar. It's just
all
packaged
sugar.
differently. But your work has got to be being delivered however you get delivered, from the desire to drink. And first, you be willing to not drink. Right. So the cancer is gone right now. You may never have a recurrence of the cancer.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah,
Yes.
you may be done with that. You go through, do whatever it is they want you to do.
Yes.
But before the cancer, before the kids, before the husband, before the divorce, alcohol. That was your base. Started at 14, escalated through high school, college, young woman, married, corporate America, successful businesswoman. Alcohol has been your foundation, and it's time for you to find a new foundation.
I honestly don't even know what that looks like.
That's why you go to therapy. And if you want, I can recommend an addictions counselor, a woman
Okay.
who would listen to you and give you wise counsel
Okay.
and point you to where you can get into some self-help meetings. You go to a meeting, just sit there and listen. You don't have to stand by. My name is Jessica and I'm an alcoholic. You may get to that point, but you may never want to say, hi, I'm Jessica, I'm an alcoholic. But listen.
Okay.
Listen, and you say, oh, I see myself over there. I see myself.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that. I did that. Go get the treatment. You are not alone. You don't have to do this by yourself.
Okay. It feels like I'm alone. It feels like I'm alone.
I believe you.
The one thing I will say though, since my hiatus, there is a level of clarity. There is a level of free. I feel free. Like when I was drinking, it's like in the morning, I'm sluggish. I feel heavy. I feel lethargic, just like a burden. And a part of that probably was guilt. Like in my own mind, I know, like I would say to myself, you're killing yourself. What are you doing? And yet I would still be drinking. Like it's hard to explain it, but and I'm so for that piece, it makes me feel lighter. Like okay, but there is still that part of me that enjoyed that life, and walking away from it, I don't know what a non-alcohol life really looks like.
I understand.
You know, like
so you got to redefine. Then when we were talking earlier, who are you? Right. What does that feel like? How do you identify yourself? Mm-hmm. You're going to get a new identity. And that's a process. And you mentioned at the very beginning that you're a child of God.
Yes.
So yes. When you get into God, He'll make you a new creation. So with your spiritual base, your support system,
yes,
your AA people, your counseling, you're going to redefine who Jessica is, and you just might like her better, and you don't have to cloud her with alcohol.
Wow.
Then the real Jessica can shine.
I like that.
I do too. I like that for you.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that.
You're
well,
not
thank
alone.
you, Dr. Dora.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. It's been an eye opener for myself. It's been educational. Yeah. I think I you know, it's I think everybody needs to have a come to Dr. Dora moment.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, I think everybody should.
Okay, before we close, I want you to look into that camera. This one right here.
This one right
here. And
here.
talk to the women out there. Talk to the 12 to 20-year-old girl.
Let's see, 12 to 20, I'm going to say to you guys, use your inner joy. Surround yourself with positive people who are on the right track. When you surround yourself with people who are doing things that probably are not good for you, you need to eliminate those folk. 12 and 20-year-olds, you guys are still under pressure, peer pressure. if that's a better term. So those peer pressures, you can do away with those by just eliminating the people that don't follow in the mindset that you aspire to be. Probably easier said than done, but you'll be amazed. There are some kids that are like minded that think like you guys, and 20-year-olds aren't kids, but for my age, I still call them kids. Yeah.
I get it.
So, overseas, alcohol is not taboo. Overseas, young kids are drinking, but they're doing it under the supervision of parents. Because here's why I say this. You ever heard the term like kids that when they're in high school, once they go to college, they lose their mind because their parents have had a tight grip. And I'm not, in no means am I saying moms and dads to encourage your kids to drink. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, don't be so quick to silence the question or the idea of a kid having a drink. True story. I love true stories. When I was young, my mom was a drinker. So when her girlfriends were over, they got the wine glasses around the table. Well, we cleaning up after the party. Let us clean up. Whatever little wine left over in the glasses, we'll take care of that for you. So to me, that just was an introduction to alcohol consumption. Now, some kids will say, it's terrible. Some kids will say, oh, I like it. But I think a parent educating their kid on drinking responsibly, if that's what the kid is going to do. It's like banking. We don't really know anything about banking, so you have somebody show you what it is that you're doing. But I think always shunning or trying to silence it only makes a person become a silent or closet user. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, where a lot of times it becomes a problem. So if this is something that parents are aware of, then maybe they can guide them down a different path. Okay. Is, I guess, what I'm leading up to. Yeah, okay. I definitely am not saying, oh, parents, teach your babies how to drink. I'm not saying that.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. Mm-hmm. So what would you say to the 40 to 60-year-old woman?
Now that's a whole different animal, because 40, 60-year-old, we got problems. Our man ain't acting right. The kids getting on your nerve, So I would say, I don't know, maybe pick up a sport, it almost feels like it's hypocritical for me to say, oh, do pickleball or volleyball or badminton or something like that, when I done told y'all what my go-to resolve was. But now, today, in my situation, as far as like my health goes, you probably would be better off finding something, a hobby that you enjoy. I am a makeup artist. That's been a passion since I was a kid. So that's something that I can fall into, and liquor wouldn't even faze me. So as long as I'm picking up a brush and I'm painting, that's something that I'm passionate about. So that is like my form of high. So find something that you're passionate about, something that you're good at, and fall into that, and let that be your escape mechanism. So that would be my 30 to 60-year-old advice. Get you, and this is my girlfriend, get you a good church home. You find you a good church home. Maybe it's a good man up in the church too. Hobby. That'll do it. That'll do it.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Do you have any closing questions for me?
So, you're going to get me some information.
Yes, I am.
So that I can move forward with that. And I've never Like, this is going to be new and different for me. Even in dealing with the cancer, all of the physicians are like, oh, do you want to participate like in a group therapy? I'm like, no.
Might be a good idea.
And I just don't know why. Why do I not want to talk to people about the life woes? Why is it? And I don't feel secretive or guarded. Like, I'll talk to like my family, I'll talk to my close friends, but it's just something about going into a room full of strangers and pouring out like my soul, like everything. That's kind of what I'm doing here, right? That's kind of what I'm doing here. But makeup was my outlet. At 11 years old, I had really bad acne. So I wore makeup even at 11 years old. Now, of course, I didn't know how to put it on. I was 11. And nobody in my family, like my mom, she wore a little bit of makeup, but my sisters, they didn't wear any makeup. So Boy George and Madonna were my idols when I was a kid. So you could imagine what my face looked like. Okay, I had a bandana. I had about 50 of them jelly bracelets on my wrist, and my eyeliner was drawn out to here. My cheeks was red, pink. So my makeup was all over the place as a kid. I wasn't taught how to put makeup on as a kid. This is something that I did to feel pretty because I felt ugly as a young girl because of the acne. And so my father, my biological father, said to me, you look like a hoe with all that stuff on your face.
Mm.
Now, you could imagine, I crawled inside of myself and died because this was my beauty. I'm thinking I look good with this stuff on because it's camouflaging my insecurities. So for you to say that to me where I think I'm shining, that just, I basically imploded.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did alcohol camouflage your beauty as well?
I think no. I think alcohol made me feel youthful. It made me feel fun. And it made me feel like I am the light in the room. Is what alcohol did for me. And it didn't taste bad either. Like margaritas, I mean, truthfully, it does. It tastes good. So I don't know, like, and even for food, like I love food because it tastes good. Now, if I had to drink something like water that has no flavor, it doesn't taste good to me. I can do away with that. So if alcohol tastes bad, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't have this problem. But I don't know. Maybe we should invent something that kills your taste buds, and then we could be in the clear, home free. You know.
Well, there are medications that you can take that will decrease the effect of the alcohol. Say you drink, but you don't feel as high.
Right.
You drink, it don't feel as good. You drink, yeah. So then you stop, because what's the point?
Oh, I was gonna say, well, now that might not be bad, but that still wouldn't address the health, I guess, concerns for me. But I get what you're saying now. That makes sense. Maybe that's something I should look into.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Jessica, it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dora. It absolutely has been educational. It's been uplifting. It's been motivational.
Wonderful.
So, yeah. Thank you, because now I have some tools now
Wonderful.
that are necessary to carry me to the next level. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Dora.
Okay.
Thank you,
my girl Jessica.
Thank you. And you look so pretty too.
Thank you.
Too.
Thank you for joining me on this episode with Jessica B. She shared a powerful story with us, and I hope that some of you were healed and blessed by it. And just like I told her, I'm telling you, you are not alone. Help is available. There are 1 800 helplines on your search engine. Please reach out for help. And if you would like me to continue sharing these episodes with you, please remember that knowledge is power. So I want you to listen, like, subscribe, and share. Ask Dr. Dora on all social media platforms. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this episode with our guest, Jessica. I hope you learned something. And if you want to learn more, you want to be heard, you want to be healed, please listen, like, subscribe, and share. Ask Dr. Dora on all social media platforms. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode with Jessica B., where she gave us her powerful story. Hopefully, you too can be healed. And if you're in a crisis, if you need help with a substance use disorder, there are 1-800 numbers you can call. You can Google the various helplines. You are not alone. So please, don't be alone. Reach out to somebody. I would like for you to listen, like, subscribe, and share. Ask Dr. Dora on all social media platforms. Thank you.